Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I thought today I'd have an initial wiring session on this dwarf cherry. This is Kojo-no-Mai, and I'm sticking with the heavier wiring. I'm not getting down into fine little twigs. There's a good reason for that. I've done something to my hand and I don't actually know what, and it's got nothing to do with that stripe there. That was the pruning saw at the weekend. And it only touched me. No, something's pulled or something, and it hurts to clench up and stretch right out. So this hand's not as useful as it could be, shall we say. So I've only got the heavier gauge wire, which I don't have huge amounts of, but I've got some. The idea is to bring this branch round here and lower it down. Because if it's going to bloom, the blooms hang down. So bring that one round to there, and then bring that one in to fill the gap. A smaller bit of wiring to do that perhaps. As I said, I'm not doing too much small stuff. So, and then that piece down there. That's that branch done. That's all I need to do on it. We will get into more structural pruning, etc. after blooming. So when I can see where the new growths are going to come, the actual leaves, then I can work out which bits to keep or not. Ugh. That looked like a whitefly. That's the last thing we need in here. Outside I can put up with them, but yeah, so I only need to put thick wire on the floor, on here, to enable that to go to there. This piece naturally follows on, so I only need one short piece of wire here just to push that to there. So we'll do that one first and get that one out of the way. So basically I don't need to take this off the coil, we can leave it on there. And as soon as I start to bend it, that's too thick. I've learnt now, don't cut the wire off expecting it to be the right thickness. Start to bend it on the piece of wood that you're working on, and if it bends round it okay, then it's about the right thickness. And if the branch doesn't bend afterwards, no, it's just a little piece broke off. We do need, oh we didn't, we actually snapped the branch. Right, well that's one piece we don't need to wire then. We just take that off. That's a shame because that's quite a large piece and that would have bloomed. But that also shows me that this wood, although quite soft, doesn't bend very well. It's quite brittle. So we don't need to do that branch now because that bit's gone. But we do need to do this one. And again, there's a bend point there that could quite easily break. So that's all we can do with that then, and then we'll hopefully hope that this shoots out a bit in this direction next year. It's a relatively vigorous tree, so we've only got to bring that one round to there, so I don't need much wire. I will cut it off this time. It's easier to work with when it's not on the coil. I will need to get some more wire for next year, that's for sure, because I've got nowhere near enough to do everything I want to do. So this time we'll start on the thicker part and come round. Very easy to knock buds off at this stage. But you've still got to get your wire on at the end of the day. Still got to be done. Far too much wire again, Roger, as usual. I always sort of say if you've got too much you can cut a bit off. If you haven't got enough you've got to start again. Now has that gone far enough along? Yeah, I just need it to go down a bit more. There we go, so that will give me my initial pad. After it's bloomed, some of these can be cut back and we will get a more rounded shape to it. The only reason that bit sticking up has been left is because it looks like it's got flower buds on, and again here. Right, so that's that one. You're not looking at the front basically. The front is, where's the camera? About there, something like that. I want to be able to see this, so I don't want branches going across it. However, I want this one to come down and almost become part of the one that I've just wired. So I'm just going to bring that down like that, so that it will extend backwards and downwards. That's all I want to do. And then this bit here hopefully will thicken this branch up. That's my theory, what I have. Right, so we'll put a bit on there. Those wire cutters are specially designed so that if you don't hold them correctly, when you use them, they pinch your finger, and if they pinch it hard enough, they'll make it bleed. Just like that. I didn't have to beep that though. Sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes there is the necessity for a beep due to language. We don't want language on the videos, do we? Or in the videos. We don't need that. Blood all over the place now. Never mind. It's funny, when you watch the professionals wiring, they never seem to have loads of branches in the way. So their wire always just seems to go round the branch, as though it's the only branch on the tree. Well, mine don't. I've always got branches in the way, where the end of the wire catches. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, that's because your piece of wire is always too long. And you're probably right. As I say, I don't claim to be any form of expert in wiring. I haven't done much in the past, and that hasn't changed. Right, so down and round. Round you go. There we go. So that now almost becomes part of this. We haven't got anything over here, but we might have. This does shoot out from the trunk every now and again, so we might get something a bit lower down this section. But my plan for this section is to bring this bit round over the top of everything I've just done, like that. Yeah? Which then leaves this bit to head off out the back, and these two bits to come round towards the front. So this is the bit that's going to have a fair bit of work done on it. So let's see if we can do that bit now. This wire seems to be thick enough to deal with these branches, quite honestly. Now I'm going to need a piece from right down here to do that. Just get a good grip there on the trunk itself, and then go round here right up to there to be able to put that twist in. So I do need a fair bit, don't I? Something like that. Right, let's see what we can do then. Start there. Get a good turn around the trunk before we start on the branch. And hopefully that will just stay there. There's bits of blood all over the tree. Never mind, I'll live. This piece might not actually be thick enough to do this branch. Don't know yet, but if it's not, we can put a second piece on, and that will be. It's also not going to be long enough. Be long enough to do the initial bit, and we might have to extend. Depends whether I've got enough there to get the twist in that I want. So that's as far as it's going to go, and the idea is to bring that round there. So I want that there. Need a little bit more. Right. That's somewhere where near where I want it, and then I could do with bringing this piece round here and bringing that piece down there. But I'm going to leave those two thinner bits for next year. I'm just doing big stuff at the moment, that's all I want to do. And this one, I'm hoping, no, if I bend that, that's going to break. So we'll have to leave that one where it is. What about you? So I want this one to come round here if it will. No, oh, see what I mean? This is incredibly brittle, this. Actually, there's a tiny little bit of rot in the middle there. Right, we now need to start going very, very careful, because this is not the sort of tree that will take bends. It's as simple as that. So we're going to try that one. Just bring this one round a bit. Yeah, it'll come round a bit. Because I want this to sort of move over to here. From here across to there. But to get the blooms displayed at their best, they do need relatively flat pads in the traditional style, not necessarily in the deciduous tree style, but the blooms are pendulous. So if the branches are on top of each other, the blooms are cluttered and they don't look good. They need to be able to hang down from the branches. So the more conifer type traditional pads are what are going to display the blooms at their best. Yeah, I can bring that round a little bit, but not too much. And then that will do. As I said, I only wanted an initial shaping this time round. Didn't want to do too much. As I said, my hand is, I don't know what I've done. This could be nothing more than slept on it wrong. Which, you know, obviously you don't know about because you're asleep. But there's something wrong with that hand. It's not working as well as it should do. It's not doing its job today. See, when there's no branches in the way, it's quite easy to get your wire on. But when the end of the wire is flicking over other branches and catching, it becomes a right pain, to say the least. There we go, that's as far as I can get. Right, now you're going to bend without breaking. Yes. Right, so that's brought that round so that we've got some extension out here. And then this is the piece that I wanted to fill this gap. But quite honestly, if I try and bend that down in, or certainly if I try and bend it in one go, it will snap. Now that I know the way this wood works, there's only so much you can do in one go. And if you try and overdo it, it just snaps and the whole branch comes off. And we don't want too much of that when we're working with the larger branches. So there we go there. The only other thing I can do is bring this one down perhaps. Yeah, we'll do that. That needs an even thinner piece. start this from running alongside the wire we've already got. It just makes it look prettier if you get the pair of wire going along together before they separate. I mean, I don't profess my wire to be pretty, but you know, when you can make a little bit of effort with very little change to what you were going to do anyway, it's worth doing it. It's worth trying to make it look reasonable. I mean, I doubt if this wire is going to be on this wood very long, because come the spring, when this starts to extend the green growth, the leaves and the twigs and everything, it's going to swell quite quickly, I suspect. And as a consequence, gently, bits at a time, as a consequence, the wire will probably need to come off. I'm hoping it, by doing it now in the autumn, we actually get the wood to set prior to the spring. That's my theory. Now, whether it works or not remains to be seen. There we go. It'd be nice if that came into there actually, so we could see it through there. Whether I Right, and that will do. As I said, there's going to be more work to do on these smaller branches, but I want to let it bloom first. See where the blooms go and then see where it starts to shoot out, because you know, from previous years, once it starts to shoot out, there are bits that don't and bits that do. Well, obviously I can put the effort into where the new growths are coming out and direct them, you know, away from the centre of the pad so that they extend outwards. Right, that'll do. I mean, I could do something with this. Bring this over in here. That might look nice. And take that one away. Obviously those branches will bend like that without snapping because I'm doing it now. So that would make for quite a nice pad there. If this one came alongside this one there, and that one came alongside on the other side, that makes quite a nice pad. And there's still a gap underneath. This bit can be bent later. So let's see if we can do that then. Let's see if we can do that without the branch breaking. That's too thin. No, these are thin branches. Let's use the thinner stuff. So what do I need then? I need a piece. I'll do this one separately and those two as a pair. Let's try that. So we'll start here. Again, making a pair, making a piece of wire follow along the piece that's already there. Come up round there, onto this branch. We'll go up the thicker bit. I'm very careful now because these are all flower buds here, along here. These are all places where it's going to bloom. So we stop somewhere about there. Right, now will that come over there and then curve away like that. Right, now we need one for the pear, and my My hand is starting to twang now, so we won't be doing this. Will probably be the last piece of wire, because I don't know what I've done. But I always say pain is there for a reason. It's to stop you doing stuff. Because if you carry on when it hurts, you're doing some sort of damage. Even if you don't know what the hell it is, it's happening. So don't do it. Stop. And that's the sort of position I'm in with this hand. It's doing something odd, and I don't know what I've done, so I can't sort of think to myself, well, I'll stop doing that then, because I don't know what I did. I got a feeling I just slept on it funny. This is what I'm on about. When you've got every which way you turn the wire, it gets stuck against something and bends a twig, and when you've got lots of little flower buds on the twigs, you can almost hear them snapping off and falling to the ground, which you just don't want. Bashing my flower buds. Again, it's the wire's too long. I'm terrible, because you cut all these end bits off. You end up with lots of little bits that are useless. They're not long enough to do anything with, and you sort of think, if I'd left that on the coil and not cut it off, the next piece, would have included it, and the coil won't run out so quick. But I will need to go and buy some more wire for the spring, because I'm going to have an awful lot to do next year. Most of my bonsai will either need getting in a pot or repotting, and an awful lot of them are going to need wiring. So I will need some more wire. Yeah, that'll do. As I said, I'm only getting outline shaping here at the moment. I'm not trying to get right down to twig level. Just getting the overall shape of the larger branches. That'll do. Right, pointy ends that poke your eye out when you're not looking, they come off. Always they come off. If you leave them on there, they'll catch your hand, they'll, as I said, take your eye out when you're not looking. So always take your loose ends off. They're not worth leaving. They don't achieve anything once you've used them up. That one can just bend around there. That one needs to come off because that's a long one. And one down there. Ah! So there we go, an initial session. As I said, that's all I planned on doing. I'm not going to attempt to do that. I don't think there's much I can do with that without it breaking. And it's not an apex as such, because I'm not sure I even want this tree to grow any bigger. All I want to do, you need to go down a bit lower. All I really want this tree to do is extend the ramifications on the layout I've got. I'm not sure where that's going to go. Probably just there. Depends what growth it puts on, because it's a weak twig. So we'll see what happens. But with this, after the blooms have gone, there might be a pretty drastic reduction here, but I might actually get something like this one to gain some more height to the tree. Come up here with another layer or another couple of layers. It's possible. It's quite a vigorous tree. So we'll see. But anyway, that's all I'm going to do today. This is going to form a reasonable sort of pad relatively easily. So will this. That's a weak branch, but it has got growth buds on it as well as flower buds, so it will pull on. And then this one gives us our width, and this one gives us some depth. And this, I'll wait and see what it does. So there we go, back outside for you, back out in the cold. Right, I go and clean my wound up and get any muck out of it. That's one thing you always should do though, if you nick yourself or poke a bit of wire in, if anything bleeds, give it a bit of a clean. You never know the muck that gets in there. See you next time, thanks for dropping by.